And what if I told you there are entire towns in the United States where people don't pay federal income tax? Nothing to the IRS. No forms, no receipts, no existential dread every April 15th. And no, this isn't some libertarian compound in Nevada. This isn't a billionaire bunker in Wyoming. These are normal towns, with schools, fire departments, people buying Lucky Charms at Safeway. The difference? They found a glitch in the matrix. A loophole so absurd, so technically correct, that the federal government just lets it slide. Because legally, they're right. They owe nothing. And this should make you angry, jealous, or desperate to pack your bags immediately. Probably all three, in that exact order. So stick with me here before Congress catches on, before some tech bro buys these towns and turns them into NFTs, before the algorithm decides this video is too dangerous for your financial sanity, and before your boss figures out you're watching this instead of working. Oh, and if you think tax freedom sounds amazing, imagine what the subscribe button could do for your self-worth. Hit it. Liberty is great, but algorithmic validation is better. We all have our vices. Because look, you're tired, exhausted really, tired of watching a third of your paycheck evaporate before it even touches your account. Tired of calculating whether that side hustle is worth it, or if it'll just bump you into a higher tax bracket and somehow make you poorer. Tired of politicians saying taxes are the price of civilization, while they write off their third vacation home as a business expense. Tired of filling out federal forms that read like they were written by a robot who actively hates humans and wants them to suffer. Tired of software companies charging you $40 to do basic math that should be free. And mostly you're tired of knowing that somewhere out there are people living the exact same life as you. Same streets, same grocery stores, same problems, same Netflix subscription, but paying zero federal income tax. Nothing, nada, zilch. Not a single dollar to Uncle Sam. And it's not fraud, it's not some sketchy offshore scheme. It's completely, boringly, technically legal. And nobody told you about it until right now. Because here's the truth. That ugly truth nobody wants to admit. The American tax system has holes, not little holes. Not accounting loopholes that save you $12. I'm talking holes the size of entire towns. Gaps so big you could drive a school bus through them. And some of these towns discovered how to exploit these gaps in a way so brilliant, so mathematically airtight, that the government can't do anything about it. So they exist in a fiscal limbo, a tax-free zone, an accidental paradise built on legal technicalities, ancient treaties, forgotten laws, and pure audacity. And today, you're going to meet these towns, learn their secrets, understand their strategies, and realize why you'll probably never be able to move there, but you'll want to. Oh, you'll want to. First mystery. The states that aren't really states, but also totally are. It starts like this. Some places in the United States technically aren't the United States. Not fully, not in the way that matters to the IRS anyway. They're territories, protectorates, Commonwealth zones, legal gray areas, and the beautiful thing about gray areas, gray taxes, like Puerto Rico, like Guam, like the US Virgin Islands, like American Samoa, like the Northern Mariana Islands. You're still an American citizen. You can vote in primaries. You carry that sweet blue passport. You can come and go to the mainland whenever you want. But the IRS? The IRS kind of forgets about you. Not entirely, but enough. Enough that it matters. Because here's the trick. These places don't pay federal income tax. They pay local taxes, sure. They have their own tax systems. But that big bite, that chunk that makes you cry in April, gone, vanished, evaporated like morning fog on a San Juan beach. And the best part? It's not illegal. It's not even a loophole, really. It's structural. It's baked into the Constitution. It's like the government built a house and forgot to put a door on one of the rooms. And now people are living in that room. Happy, tanned, filing zero federal forms. Let me paint you a picture. You're a software engineer. You make 6 figures. You live in San Francisco. You pay California state tax, federal tax, Social Security, Medicare, the whole nightmare. After everything, you're taking home maybe 60% of your salary. Maybe. Same engineer, same job, same company, same Zoom meetings. But they moved to San Juan. Suddenly, no federal income tax. They still pay some local Puerto Rican tax, but it's a fraction. They're taking home 85% of their income. Same work, same life, different zip code, different reality. The ugly truth here is that these places exist in this limbo because the United States doesn't want to pay to fully integrate them. Statehood is expensive. It means representation. It means infrastructure investment. It means actually caring. So they stay in this weird in-between zone, and the people who live there, they ride the wave. But here's the darker layer. These territories also don't get full representation in Congress. They can't vote for president unless they move to the mainland. They're Americans, but not really. They get the tax break, but they also get the political cold shoulder. It's a trade-off, a strange, colonial, unspoken trade-off. Punchline: you're not exploiting the system, you're just living in the glitch. Second act, when the mayor decides to read the fine print. Now there's another type of town. These places aren't outside the system, they're inside it. They just hacked the code. How? Simple. They turned the entire town into a corporation, literally. The whole city is a business entity. Every resident is a shareholder, and shareholders don't pay personal income tax the same way regular mortals do. Real example? Towns in Alaska. Small native communities that reorganized as Alaska Native Corporations after the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act of 1971. This was a federal law designed to settle land claims with indigenous groups. And instead of creating reservations, the government created corporations. Native-owned, native-run corporations. These corporations own land, resources, oil, timber, fish, mining rights, tourism operations, and the profits distributed to members, but structured in such an intelligent, such a technically beautiful way that most of the money never shows up as taxable personal income. It's corporate dividends from a native corporation. It's trust distributions. It's resource royalties paid through specific channels. It's accounting magic that would be illegal for you or me, but perfectly legal for them. Quick metaphor. Imagine you work at Google, but instead of a salary, you get stock options, deferred bonuses, carbon credits, and a timeshare on Mars. Technically, you didn't earn income. Technically, you acquired unrealized future value. And the IRS, too confused to argue. That's basically what's happening here. And here's the kicker. These aren't tiny villages. Some of these native corporations are massive. Hundreds of millions in revenue, thousands of shareholders. They run construction companies, government contracts, real estate developments. They're legitimate businesses, but they operate under a different set of rules. Rules written to compensate for centuries of genocide and broken treaties. And now those same rules create a tax advantage. The contradiction here is delicious. The government created these structures as reparations, as a way to give back stolen land and resources. And now these communities use those structures to minimize their tax burden. Historical justice meets fiscal optimization. It's poetic, it's uncomfortable, it's brilliant. Punchline: the best revenge is fiscal. Third movement, the towns that opted out of money entirely. Then you have the small towns, the remote ones, the weird ones, places where the formal economy just never quite arrived. Parts of rural Alaska where there are no roads, sections of South Dakota, Amish communities in Ohio and Pennsylvania, Mennonite towns in Kansas, off-grid communities in Montana, where people live on subsistence, barter, trade, favors. You fix my roof, I give you eggs. You watch my kids, I hunt for you. You help with harvest, I teach your daughter piano. It's an economy, but it's not a cash economy. And here's the play. If you don't have formal income, you don't pay income tax. Obvious, right? But the absurdity is that these people live full lives. Houses, food, community, purpose, healthcare through mutual aid, education through homeschooling and apprenticeship, and $0 moving through a bank account. So to the IRS, they don't exist. They're economic ghosts. Now, let's be clear. They don't have Netflix. They're not ordering DoorDash. They don't have the newest iPhone or a Tesla in the driveway. But they also don't have credit card debt, don't have student loans, don't lie awake at night worrying about audits, don't need TurboTax Premium Deluxe Ultimate Edition. There's a family in northern Alaska, homesteaders. They hunt caribou, catch salmon, grow what they can in the short summer, trade with neighbors. They live in a house they built themselves. Their kids are healthy, educated, happy. And according to the IRS, their annual income is zero because there's no W-2, no 1099, no paper trail, just life. The ugly reality here isn't that they're poor, not by their own standards. The reality is that they chose to exit the game, and the game didn't even notice they left. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. This only works if you're willing to give up a lot. Modern medicine, emergency services, quick access to anything. If someone gets seriously sick, they're hours from a hospital. If something breaks, they fix it or do without. It's freedom from taxes, but it's also isolation from safety nets. Punchline. Turns out money is optional. Comfort is the real subscription. Fourth chapter. When ancient paperwork becomes a superpower. Now comes the truly bizarre part. There are places in the United States that don't pay certain taxes because of treaties. Old treaties. Like 19th century old. Agreements negotiated during the Civil War, during westward expansion, during times when nobody thought these papers would matter in 2025, but they do. Example, certain tribal lands operate under partial sovereignty. They have their own jurisdiction, their own courts, their own laws, and depending on how money flows, where it comes from, where it goes, what it's called, it might simply not be taxable by the federal government, not because of rebellion, not because of protest, but because of a treaty, signed, sealed, forgotten by everyone except the lawyers. It's like if your great-great-grandfather made a deal with the city in 1887, saying your family would never pay property tax, and everyone forgot about it, but the document is still legally binding. So now you live rent-free while the county clerk's office tries to figure out what the hell is happening. There's a reservation in Oklahoma. Due to a treaty from 1866, certain types of income earned on tribal land by tribal members are exempt from state and some federal taxes. Not all income, not always, but in specific circumstances, under specific structures, yes. And the tribe has lawyers, very good lawyers, who know exactly how to structure businesses, casinos, and payments to maximize that advantage. The contradiction? The federal government spends billions hunting down tax cheats, auditing small business owners for underreporting $5,000, but they can't touch these towns, can't challenge these structures, because old paper, my friend, is more powerful than AI algorithms and government databases. The government could try to renegotiate these treaties, but that would open a legal can of worms the size of the Grand Canyon. It would mean admitting these treaties are still valid, which means admitting sovereignty, which means dozens of other legal battles. So they just don't. They leave it alone. And the people living under these treaties, they live quietly, happily, carefully. Punchline, bureaucracy is your enemy until it becomes your shield. Fifth revelation, when God and the tax code collide. Here's another angle nobody talks about. Religious communities. Certain religious groups in America qualify for tax exemptions that basically amount to not participating in the federal tax system. Not income tax directly, but close enough. The Amish, for example, don't pay Social Security or Medicare taxes if they're self-employed. Why? Religious exemption. They don't accept government benefits, so they don't pay into the system. Sounds fair, right? But think about it. That's 15% of income that just doesn't go to the government. Combine that with living in a cash and barter economy, and you've basically created a tax-free existence. Some Mennonite communities operate similarly, Hutterite colonies. They're structured as religious communes where everything is shared. Nobody has individual income. The colony as a whole might have revenue, but individuals? Zero taxable income. They get housing, food, clothing, healthcare, education, all provided by the community. But on paper, they earn nothing. And the IRS can't really challenge it. Because religious freedom, because it's been this way for centuries, because the paperwork checks out. Here's the uncomfortable bit. These groups aren't scamming anyone. They genuinely live this way for religious reasons. But the side effect is a massive tax advantage. And you can't join unless you convert. And converting means giving up your phone, your car, your entire modern life. So it's freedom from taxes, but only if you're willing to join a completely different society. Punchline, salvation is free, but tax exemption requires commitment. Sixth angle, leaving without leaving. Last one, and this is the wildest. There are Americans who live in the US but technically don't live in the US. They've established residency in one of these tax-free territories or structures, but they spend most of their time on the mainland. Digital nomads who claim Puerto Rico residency. They spend the minimum required days on the island, establish a physical presence, file Puerto Rican taxes, and suddenly their federal burden drops dramatically. It's legal. There are specific rules. You have to be there at least 183 days a year. You have to prove you're a bona fide resident. But if you can work remotely, if your income is location independent, you just gamed the system. Crypto traders did this en masse during the bull run. Move to Puerto Rico, claim residency, and suddenly capital gains on crypto are taxed at 4% instead of 20 or 37%. That's not a small difference. That's retirement-altering money. The government knows this is happening. They've tried to tighten the rules. But as long as you follow the letter of the law, they can't stop you. Punchline: you don't have to leave America to leave America. And this is where it gets really strange, because you start to realize these towns, these structures, these loopholes aren't exceptions. They're symptoms. Symptoms of a tax system so complex, so layered with patches and amendments and compromises, that it's created entire pockets of alternate reality, where the normal rules don't apply, where logic breaks down, where ordinary people live extraordinary lives simply because they're in the right place, at the right time, with the right paperwork. And here's the wildest part. Most of them don't care that you know, because you can't replicate it. You can't join a native corporation unless you have native ancestry. You can't sign a treaty from 1866. You can't turn your suburb into a religious commune without violating 80 laws and horrifying your HOA. You can't just move to Puerto Rico unless you can actually live there, work remotely, and deal with hurricanes and infrastructure issues. So they live there, quietly, invisibly, comfortably. And you? You keep filling out forms. Keep wondering why TurboTax is asking if you raised alpacas for profit this year. Keep getting anxiety every time an envelope arrives from the IRS. But now you know. Now you know the game has different boards, different rules, different players. And some of those players aren't playing the same game as you at all. So let's recap. There are towns in the United States that don't pay federal income tax because they're forgotten territories, corporate structures, informal economies, treaty beneficiaries, religious exemptions, or residency loopholes. They're not doing anything wrong. They're not criminals. They're not even particularly clever. They're just playing a different game. A game that exists in the margins of a tax code so massive that nobody fully understands it. Not the IRS, not Congress, not even the people exploiting it. And if this makes you angry, good, it should. Because while you're losing sleep over whether you can deduct your home office, there are people sipping piña coladas and declaring zero income. While you're paying an accountant $300 to save you $400, there are entire towns that forgot what a 1040 form looks like. But hey, at least you have this knowledge now. And knowledge is power. Or at least it's great material for dinner parties where you want to sound smart and slightly unhinged. Now click the next video before I convince you to move to a volcanic island with questionable internet. Or subscribe. Or both. Freedom is great, but binge watching is better. And the algorithm demands sacrifice. See you in the next one, unless you're already researching flights to San Juan, in which case, send a postcard.